Hey YouTube, what's going on? Abyssalwave here, and welcome to a continuation of a series that I did in Nighthold called How to Do Insane DPS, as you can see from the title. So I'm going to be doing this for Tomb of Sargeras for every boss. I'm not going to leave out bosses like I did in Nighthold. I'm going to do it in chronological order like I did not do in Nighthold. But let's get into it. So we're going to start now with the countdown on Goroth. So of course on Goroth it's a straight up single target fight. However, there are mechanics that you can get as melee that are really going to affect your DPS. I use my Army of the Dead at around 7 to 6 seconds because I do want my runes to still be recharging, as you can see there, to maximize the rune recharge, because you can recharge 3 runes at a time. I'm using Cold Heart, Tac Theratrixes, and for trinkets I'm using Convergence of Fate and Spectre Betrayal. Spectre Betrayal is incredible in this fight because the boss doesn't really move much, so you can always get your double hits off, and you know that's just super nice for Spectre Betrayal, because with the sim DPS that we see from Spectre, that's with consistent double hits and just with it's just a really straight up single target fight, so you're not splitting up the damage onto the ads when you don't need to be. So this is just straight up right here. We're just going into the boss, leading in right there. I should have used my Cold Heart first. Make sure that you don't waste your Cold Heart stacks, because I probably wasted 1 stack there, and 1 stack is an extra 80k damage, so you don't really want to be doing that. However, we're fine. Making sure that I can get my Outbreak up right now, so I lost no seconds there. I didn't. It ticked right as I applied it, so we're all good there. Don't worry. And then we hide. I'm not using Wraith Walk to get behind the pillars because that pillar was very close. I noticed it. I saw, okay, my pillar's close to hide, so I don't need to waste my Wraith Walk, so I can save that for when, or if, and you'll see later, when I get Shattering Star. So Shattering Star, obviously you have to run behind the pillars that you want to destroy, so I'm going to need to save it for that. And I didn't know that at the time, but you just want to save it in case. Now right here I'm starting to save up some Sun and Doom procs. I want at least 1 Sun and Doom proc, because I don't want to waste it by having 2, because one could override the other and you're not going to gain a third. However, you still want to use it just because it's filler. So right here, I'm just making sure I get in, and I start with my 2nd Dark Arbiter before my Festering Wounds fall off to not waste them. And right here, I start just laying in with Runic Power. Now, dumping the Runic Power is more important to me there than applying my Outbreak, because I can apply it a second later. But if my Dark Arbiter gets an attack without me using a Death Coil, that's going to really suck. Now here, of course, I got Infernal Burning, and then I got a Crashing Comet right after. So it really does affect my damage, and that leads to a 350-ish RP Dark Arbiter, which isn't optimal, but it's not necessarily bad. I mean, it's not good, but it could have been so much worse. So we're gonna be happy with what we were given there. Crashing Comet sucks when you get it. However, there's a trick that you can do to it where you can use AMS right before it applies, as you saw me do. So right before the comet hits you, you can of course use your AMS, and it doesn't apply the debuff because AMS absorbs applications of debuff. Right there, I do not use my Wraith Walk for the Shattering Star because I knew what I was going through. My raid leader called, okay, whoever gets Shattering Star, you're going through the right pillars. Of course, I saw them. I saw, okay, I can get to them without Wraith Walk, as I saw, so we're all good. I'm not using it there too, just in case after this Infernal Burning I get another Crashing Comet. So I want to get out with that fast, and I wasn't in a rush to get behind the pillars. So here we're just staying behind the boss, so we're also avoiding other people's Crashing Comets. So in case we get another Crashing Comet ourselves, we'll just die if we have 2 Crashing Comets. We're going to be taking 950k damage per second. That's too much. Right here, that person needs to get out. It's not really our fault if we get hit, it's their fault, but I'm going to slightly move to the side so I don't get hit. And we're going to make sure that we're not standing in the Infernal Pools. Walking over them is okay, but standing in them is not. So we're just making sure that we have as high up time with our Outbreak as possible in this fight. There's very little room for min-maxing on this fight because it is a straight up patchwork single target fight with slight mechanics that are going to take you off the boss. So you just want to make sure that you are maximizing everything you can for this boss. And there is RNG with this boss. You really want to get good Sun and Doom proc storing your Dark Arbiter, because that is really the only room for RNG to help your rotation a lot with this boss. And I'm making sure I use my Cold Heart there, use my Spectre. I'm positioning my Spectre in a way so if we have to move the boss closer to one of those pillars, then I'm still going to be able to get my double hit off when I have to put down my next Spectre Betrayal. So Spectre Betrayal, Again, it's just an incredible trinket on this fight. Highly recommend you use it if you have it, because you will consistently be able to get double hits on this as long as your tanks aren't moving in a circle around the room or any nonsense like that. So here I got my Crashing Comet. Now that person ran for Shattering Star. I'm going to notice that. I'm going to notice, okay, you have Comet and Shattering Star. I'm going to need to not break those pillars, because if I break those pillars early before the star can go through, it's bad news. Like, that person's dead and we might wipe. So here, just going to make sure I get behind a pillar, and I'm going to actually refresh my Outbreak early there. Maybe should have waited another second so I'm not wasting any runes with Outbreak, because if you apply it every time a second or two early, that adds up to you wasting one rune on a fight, and that could be going into a Scourge Strike instead. So you just want to make sure you're not wasting anything on this fight. This is a huge min-maxing fight if you want to do well. And we got the kill. We got 1.08 mil DPS, which ended up at the time being a 90th percentile parse, which I'm very happy about on our second kill at around a 6-minute fight. Not too shabby. If the kill time's faster, of course, that's really the only room for min-maxing and just polishing up the rotation and also getting more Sun and Doom procs. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you found it useful, make sure to give it a like, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.